Um,
Wesley.
Shirley, you do this? Just put those 3 words in there. Explain why I said that. That's it.
This is what?
It's minutes.
Oh, these are committee minutes.
Didn't he
I
ask
don't
about
do-
committee minutes?
Committee minutes are approved at the next committee meeting,
I'm
next
sorry.
Thursday, so no problem.
You're approving my minutes.
They're approved, yes.
Any other comments, corrections? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Bills, Alderman Wesley?
I make the motion pay $4,406,969.
Item 10.
What?
Got those bills again.
Yeah.
Is there a second
Second
on the question?
question.
Alderman Shockey?
Just a moment if I can pull it out quickly. On page 2. Page 2. Baxter and Woodman. The WWTP Site Assessment Study, 20,406. Can you bring me up to date again what that was?
Mr. Manager?
I'll have to defer that to Mr. Holm.
That's the study.
That is part of the ongoing feasibility study for the new wastewater treatment plant.
We haven't gotten the study back yet.
No, that will be presented to council, I believe, in July. We're planning on coming to you.
We got to pay him before we see the study?
Well, they're doing work as part of the consulting process. So, we have a full not-to-exceed value on the contract, and they've incurred costs and are performing, hourly work. And yes,
So, and I get, trying to remember, 30?
yeah, I was going to say it's right around 30,000. I
So they
think.
want 20 already. Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions.
Alderman Wesley?
Page 6, Gary, you might well sit there because this is part of yours. Office furniture, $2,897.77. What office furniture is that?
That's actually the invoice for installation of our office furniture at Public Works.
To install it?
To install all of our office furniture at Public Works, yes.
Okay, well, let's go on to, may I go on, Mr. Mayor? I have a few more here. Page 7, Wooddale Train Depot Design Service, $2,091.25. Will you tell me what that's for?
Again, an ongoing design project for our train depot project.
I thought we already paid for the design, so what is this going for?
The contract goes from the preliminary design process through the final design process, through the bidding process, and eventually into the construction process. So this is just an ongoing invoice because that project is still ongoing.
I guess that the train station we talked about down the agenda. There's a couple other things. Page 9, the irrigation system for the triangle. Is that just for installations for that?
We had previously purchased the equipment,
Okay.
and yes, so this is basically the contractor's installation and expertise in putting together the system.
Could you answer the question, is this system working or is it not working at this time? I heard it is not working at this time, and why should we pay this bill?
As of this afternoon, talking with the street supervisor at 3:15, all the systems are up and working. The system, the Liberty Bell system, we don't have power to, so that system is actually being run manually. The Shorty's Triangle system is running fully automatic at this point.
So whose responsibility is for the power for the one on the bell? The
To
Liberty Bell.
get power to it or to
Yeah,
operate
to
it?
get our sprinkler system going.
Well, ultimately, we're gonna have to be to pull power. Right now, the only power we have is tied to the photocell on the lights. So you obviously would only have power when the lights are operating, so we'll need to find a live leg and pull power to get to the timer.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I have two more.
Proceed.
Michael Jordan on page 11. Last month, and for anyone know, it ain't the basketball player anyways, it's someone else. Last month, we pay Michael Jordan for his irrigation system of $1,200, which was dug up during construction. I totally agree we should do that. Why am I paying for sump pump work on his house?
Same scenario, different system. I mean, the irrigation system was dug up, and we reimbursed him for those costs that he had to incur. He had to incur costs related to sump pump work at his house. So this is reimbursement related to that. Not the sump pump in the basement. It's sump pump piping out where he's had to get reimbursed.
My question on that one, is it going to be reimbursed from us for the contractor that dug it up and all that?
I can go on the long story because this one is a very long story.
I'm asking a simple question because I don't see,
Unfortunately, there's not a simple answer. The simple answer is the city is going to be paying this $909. Not a contractor, not the resident.
but my question on that, Gary, now that I got you here, is the contractor dug it up and caused damage to the sprinkler system and sump pump, so why should the city be paying for it when it's a construction project?
Well, then I got to go into the long story. The homeowner knew that the sump pump came out from his house, went under his driveway, and headed off in this direction. Homeowner knew that much, but he didn't know where it headed off to. The contractor is digging, and he doesn't know where it is either, obviously, because he doesn't live there. During the course of construction one day, the homeowner states that they saw the pipe in the excavation and pointed it out to one of the contractor's workers. Contractors, actually owners or senior people at the contractor, never knew this or deny knowledge of this. The homeowner is saying that he did it. Now the contractor, it's hard to hold the contractor liable for hitting this pipe when even the homeowner didn't know where the pipe was. The homeowner, on the other hand, is saying he informed someone where the pipe was, so he should be off the hook. So we've got two people, and it came down to a situation of he said, she said, and finally for $900, and after 3 meetings and 5 correspondences, we're just gonna cut our losses and be done. This will satisfy the homeowner and we'll be done.
Are we going to have any more bills from,
Mr. Jordan, actually,
Yes.
invisible fence is the other one coming.
okay, and whose fault does that fall in? I guess
The
we,
big picture
you know what,
here-
forget, we'll wait till that bill comes
Well,
and we'll
no,
question
the
that.
big picture is, we don't have an ordinance prohibiting people from putting private irrigation systems in the right-of-way. We don't have an ordinance prohibiting people from putting invisible fences in the right-of-way. We don't have those ordinances on the books. So when they have those systems out there and we damage them, it's kind of hard to look at a homeowner and say, yes, we damaged your system, now you fix it.
But Gary, if a homeowner puts something in our easement or in our right-of-way, isn't it at their risk?
Again, I was always under the impression, and it's always been done this way since I was in private practice working for Wooddale. Wooddale has always reimbursed homeowners for that.
But it's,
That's for years.
Alderman Wesley?
but again, it's our easement,
I understand that.
okay? And then the other one on page 12, there's.
Well, before you
the,
go on, I think this is something that we should add to Public Works agenda for a future discussion to create a policy on this.
I don't disagree.
So if Alderman Winger, if you will add that to your future agenda.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Could I carry on one more? Yeah, I believe it's page 12, safety source. Is that 2 invoices? It just happened to be 2 the same thing.
Yeah, two separate, no, it's not double invoice.
It ain't double invoices?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor, today.
Anything further on the question? Alderman Lewiton?
And just a suggestion, Gary, just to try it. If it fails, it fails. But why don't you, and I assume that you get a certificate of insurance from every contractor for their GL, general liability. Why don't you subrogate this claim to the insurance company? If they honor it and pay it, you get your money back. If they don't, you wasted a letter.
We can, you're right, because it's not gonna hurt anything to do that. But the way the utility locating laws work is such that if a utility is not located or a utility is located improperly, it falls back to the utility company and not the contractor that hit it.
But you paid it, so I'm just saying, not to make a discussion, I'm just saying, would you write a letter of subrogation to the GL of the contractor and ask them if they'll pay it?
All it's gonna hurt is a postage stamp, I agree.
They'll fax it and they'll save money.
Alderman Cadella.
Gary, back to one of the issues just brought up, the $2,091 for Kluber for the train station. That is part of the original and base contract amount that we're already committed to with them, right? That's not anything above and beyond. It's in.
That's nothing above and beyond, it's just
Just-
part of the original
okay, I just need to know that,
contract
okay.
amount, ongoing billing.
Okay, thanks.
Anything further on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman Lewiton?
Yes.
Alderman Elise?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
No.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Those items pass. Do any citizens wish to address the city council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address, please. Hearing none, I do have one written communique. Dear Mayor Johnson and members of the City Council, recently we learned that other taxing bodies within the City of Wooddale received impact fee donations under an annexation agreement negotiated between the City of Wooddale and Pulte Homes Corporation. The impact fee donations were based on new townhomes that were constructed in the Bristol Park development near the intersection of Wooddale Road and Devon. We are very disappointed to discover that neither Wooddale Park District nor Fenton Community High School District 100 was included in the annexation agreement that requested these impact fees. It is not fair that some taxing bodies received impact fees and our agencies received nothing. Residents of this new development will need parks and other Park District facilities, and high school-age children living in this development will attend Fenton High School. Both entities should have been given the opportunity to receive donations to offset the effect that the new development will have on our Park District and school facilities. Based on the oversight in the annexation agreement, we respectfully request the City of Wooddale approach Pulte Homes and request that additional impact fee donations be made to both the Wooddale Park District and Fenton Community High School District 100. Furthermore, we understand that the city has no ordinance which addresses the impact that new residential developments, whether newly annexed or redevelopment projects, will have on various taxing bodies that exist within the city limits. We'd like to start a dialogue with the city now on the topic of adopting an ordinance, an appropriate ordinance, so that the current lapse does not occur again. Again, your prompt response to the above issues would be greatly appreciated. Signed, Roberta Newmeyer, President of the Wooddale Park District, and Dorothy Lang, President of Fenton Community High School. Alderman Wesley?
Mr. Mayor, if I'm mistaken, did we get money for that? I thought their donations, what they donated was to build a new train station. I don't know of anything like that unless there is one out there that I don't know about.
We did extract, $200,000 and $250,000 from the developer for contributions towards the new Wooddale train station.
Right,
Yes.
but it's not for us. I mean, where do you, I mean, if you're going to do that, you might well ask for the grade schools too. We approached them for new train station. I mean, we, as a city, we didn't get any money directly into, our budget for that. It's going to a project in our community. So, my opinion, I don't think they should be entitled to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
If we had a lot of undeveloped land in Wooddale, that's certainly something we could consider, but we're pretty much a built-out community, so this is probably not something that's going to happen again, I don't think. So it's unfortunate, but we did use the money for another benefit for the entire community, and that's going to be the new train station. So. Under Mayor's report, we have two representatives of the American Cancer Society. Do you want to join me at the podium? . 'Cause And before I read this proclamation, you want to give us a little commercial on what's up and coming?
Sure. The Relay for Life of Wooddale and Bentonville is June 22nd, 23rd. It's an overnight event. It's the largest fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. It's being held at Fenton High School. Our goal this year is to raise $50,000, and last year we raised $41,000. So we think we can make our goal this year. We're anticipating approximately 300 people to attend, but everyone is invited. You can just show up that night, see what it's all about, or get involved ahead of time. It's a night to honor cancer survivors, to remember lost loved ones, and to get together and raise some funds for the Cancer Society.
This is kind of an opportunity to have a really nice time, get to know the other people in the community, and help out people who are surviving cancer and who have gone before us who did not perhaps survive, and to help their families. So please get a team together, join us. It's going to be a great night.
Do you want to explain a little bit about these teams of Wooddale Alderman or Wooddale Police Department or Wooddale Building Department, how you form a team, how many members, what their commitment would be, and how that raises funds for the American Cancer Society?
You want to get together your friends and get your tent and your sleeping bags and your walking shoes and prepare yourself to have a night of walking, dancing, enjoying food, and we have a DJ who's going to be playing all night long, and we're going to have lots of games and just things that you can do. And all you need to do is get that guy next to you to go with you, and gather up 3 or 4 other people that you're good friends with, and just enjoy yourself and do something really worthwhile. Everybody knows somebody who's had cancer. Everybody has this affect their life in some way or another. Some of you, it may even be cancer survivors. But our theme for this year is Send Cancer on a Permanent Vacation, and that's what we want to do. And we want you to all get a team together and come and be with us.
Whereas the American Cancer Society Relay for Life began in 1985 in Tacoma, Washington, through the efforts and vision of Dr. Gordon Klatt. And whereas since that time, Relay for Life has become the national signature event for the American Cancer Society. And whereas Relay for Life is an extremely popular and an exciting way to celebrate cancer survivorship and honor lost loved ones while simultaneously raising money to prevent cancer and save lives through research, education, advocacy, and patient services. And whereas Relay for Life unites communities, businesses, and organizations nationwide in a common cause, the fight against cancer. And whereas Relay for Life is a community event which is volunteer developed and driven. And whereas this is the second annual Relay for Life for Wooddale, Bentonville. And whereas the Relay for Life of Wooddale, Bentonville, I like the way you put Wooddale first, that was good. The Relay for Life of Wooddale, Bentonville is comprised of teams of individuals representing corporations, businesses, and families in a non-competitive event. Now, therefore, I, Kenneth P. Johnson, do proclaim June 22nd and June 23rd, 2007 as Relay for Life of Wooddale, Bentonville Days in the city of Wooddale, and urge all residents to support this worthwhile event. Ladies, good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations last year on a great event. Look forward to being better this year.
Thank you.
Last week I had the opportunity to attend our first O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission as a member, and I was very impressed with the quality of the commission and the reports that they gave us. One good news item that came out is the federal government has approved an additional $20 million for soundproofing of homes around O'Hare Airport. This is going to be an extra 600 or 700 homes over and above what was currently planned. Alderman Wesley, if you're available, I'd like you to be the city's representative on the residential soundproofing committee. Thank you, sir. Item C, not on your agenda, but I appoint, for your information, I appoint Dave Ptolemy to the Streetscape Committee. And also under my report, Tomorrow is the deadline for the newly elected officials, should you wish to attend the training seminar. If you do, the city of Wooddale will pick up the expense for that. It's well worthwhile. That should have been in your packet. Hopefully, if you're able, you'll be able to attend that. As a matter of fact, if any of the aldermen want to have a little refresher course, we'll pick up that tab as well. Mr. Manager?
I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
We do not have anything on the consent agenda. Community chairman reports, building, zoning, and planning, zoning, and building. Alderman Shockey.
No report.
Public health, safety, and judiciary. Alderman Coles.
I have one report. I'd like to make a motion on the new ordinance 7-017 with amendment of code 5.402 of chapter 5 to clarify the text regarding the operation, hours, and businesses of liquor licenses as per approved by the City of Wooddale's attorney. Do I have a second?
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Alderman Cole?
Yes.
Alderman Oh, boy. This is an old one. Okay. Okay, Alderman, who took his place? Police?
Yes.
Alderman Knight?
Yes.
Alderman Cadella?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Leotan?
Yes.
That passes ordinance O-07-17. Does that conclude your report?
That completes my report.
Public Works, Alderman Winger.
I have one item on my report. There was a street survey, as well as Alderman Coles held a meeting with his constituents on the street of Windsor, and the request is for permanent speed humps on Windsor Street between Cedar and Central. And if this does pass, the most feasible way of doing that would be to work it into our street street resurfacing program at the end of the summer, if budget permits. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Mayor to lead the discussion.
Mr. Manager.
I have Gary Holm here that will basically explain it. We've had several of the permanent speed humps installed in different locations throughout the city. We have a request for the Windsor Street to have a permanent. We've had temporary speed humps there before. We even tried a restrictor there. I would just like to say that once we do put a permanent hump in there, it may have some effect of offsetting traffic flow through the area, and the traffic may also start to increase on the other streets that are running in that direction. We tried also doing a no right-hand turn to cut through traffic, and now we leave it up to the residents to make a determination whether they can be comfortable with a permanent speed hump. And Mr. Holm, you want to follow up with that?
And I'll start with a brief word on speed humps and speed bumps, because the terms are thrown about interchangeably, but they are not the same. Speed humps we have installed elsewhere in town. Those are the broad, gradual humps that you drive over, and they reduce speed. Speed bumps are what we have been putting out during the summer seasons. They are short and taller, and when you hit them, you have a bump, and then once you're past it, it's back to the road. So we're talking about speed humps, the gradual humps, which would be on a permanent basis and permanently installed. The speed humps, and I've got a guideline and all the design procedures for them. We would incorporate into our regular roadway program. The downside of speed humps is that, as Manager Williams just said, one, they may push cut-through traffic or push traffic onto the adjacent streets that don't have the humps. And two, from an operational standpoint, we can no longer sweep those streets. We won't be able to do any street sweeping on the streets with the speed humps. Snow plowing is not an issue. Our plows ride up and over the humps, so snow plowing is not an issue. There's minimal impact on emergency services, but basically the real impact from an operational standpoint from our end is we no longer sweep those streets. So.
Question?
Alderman Coles.
Street you forgot was Potter at the stop signs. And Cedar. That's,
And those were, right now, that was one of the things that I wanted to bring up was what areas and define the area that council wants this to be installed at. Staff is recommending against anything at the four-way stop.
at the
That we do not feel that that's an appropriate, the speed bumps or speed humps at a four-way stop.
well, John's son almost got hit by a car at Potter and Cedar the other day because the guy didn't stop at the stop sign.
But that's the operative word, that the gentleman didn't stop at the stop sign.
Yeah, well, I know, but if they don't stop at the stop sign, somebody is gonna get hurt. Then what we'll do is we'll have to do something about it. Well, why can't we prevent something happening before that?
Well,
Would you like to have your son get killed?
there are national guidelines for traffic control devices. There's the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. There's AASHTO, ITE, which is what I have here. They all have recommended standards that are followed throughout the nation. Okay? And the only people that really use these are engineers, law enforcement, and lawyers. And those are really the people that use these. And if you do something that's in contrary to what these things say, you're in worse shape than you would if you weren't to do something. And I'm not an attorney, I won't want to pretend to be an attorney, but my opinion would be that if we did something that went against these documents, we'd be in worse shape than if we didn't do anything at all.
Okay, I'm trying. That's all I can do.
Alderman Wesley.
Gary, it shows on the bottom of the sheet, it says this item was not included in 2007-2008 budget. Can I ask you a question? When were the temporary ones installed at one time?
I don't know what the first year was that they were installed. I know that they've been installed out there several years. In fact, we installed them out there as recently as just last summer. So
Okay.
I don't know how many years it's been. Yeah.
At least 5 consecutive years. All right. Well, my other questions concern, you have a price tag of $10,000. How many is that? Reading this memo, I don't think it says how many were going to be installed. Is
No,
it 10?
I'm saying in excess of 10,000, and then we will, typically the residential streets, they're installed at roughly 200-foot intervals.
Okay.
So based on the distance of the street and with speed humps, you really can't put them in front of someone's driveway because you can't really expect someone to back out onto a speed hump all the time. So you're gonna have to first of all start with an interval and then go to reality and figure out where you can fit them in between driveways. So the total number of them, we didn't take it to the point of actually designing at this point, so.
So you're saying the project, if we go ahead with this, will be $10,000 roughly?
I'm saying, I phrased it here very carefully where I said.
Estimated
It's
cost.
estimated that's in excess of $10,000. Do I
Right.
think that means in excess, now it's only 100,000? No, I
Right.
think it's close to the $10,000, but it'll probably be more than that.
But my other question, well, actually, I have two questions. If they were installed there several years in a row here, why did we not even consider putting this in the budget on 2007, 2008, knowing that it was going to come eventually for permanent, knowing that we had temporary there and there would be considered permanent? And my follow-up with that question is, where are you looking to do a budget movement to pay for this project?
They were not included in the 07-08 budget because even as we speak, they still haven't been approved. Last June 2nd, Public Works Committee, well, June 2nd is the date of my memo. The June Public Works Committee then last summer was when the idea of temporary permanent speed humps was first brought to council. And the fact that we spend considerable amount of man hours, considerable amount of cost every year installing the temporary bumps, maintaining the temporary bumps. And it was, the idea was brought forward, do we want to continue doing temporary bumps year after year after year? Or at some point in time, do we want to go to the residents and say, if you want speed bumps or speed humps, you know, you need to have permanent ones. And so that wasn't even brought forward until last June. Then we went through the process this winter of contacting the residents, and so again, we're coming here tonight now for an approval. That's why it's not in the 07-08 budget.
Okay,
As far as where the funds would come from, right now I would contemplate taking those funds just out of our capital roadway budget.
Mr. Mayor, can I do a follow-up with that?
Alderman Wesley?
Mine. The question I have on this, I have no problem approving this down the line here, but I think what we need to do as a council, anytime we put temporary speed bumps up now on, we need to put in the budget, because eventually that may come as a permanent down the line. You know, we need to budget it. Okay, so Gary, next time we put speed bumps, temporary speed bumps on the street, please calculate on putting it in the budget that it may be a permanent. No one says we going to spend that money in that budget for speed bumps, but it's there. Okay, now we might have to make a budget amendment, and I don't know if it's there. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Alderman, please.
I just wanted to make a comment. This week I received 2 phone calls from 2 of the residents on the block. One is actually west of me, George Nicolau. He's opposed to the speed humps. The other one is John Cartina. He's to the east of me, and he is for the speed humps. I just wanted to say that they called me, make a record of it, that's all.
Alderman Coles?
You know, we put in the Cary project over there, and that also increased the amount of cars that are coming out on Potter and Cedar and on Windsor, because people live there and they drive out, and there's quite a few homes in there, and it's increased the traffic. And I will vote for the temporary, the permanent speed hump, but we have to do something about the corner of